Namaskar. This is a very important subject about karma and karma yoga. Important because this course, the entire course, is a Sadvipra training. Sadvipras are yogic leaders, they're ethical models, they're models for the whole society. And to understand a Sadvipra and to be a Sadvipra, service is extremely integral. Now, the real yoga is, of course, not just yoga postures or asanas. In fact, yoga postures or asanas is just one limb out of 8 limbs of yoga. And we should understand that that yoga is better taken as 3 parts. And that is the yoga of self-knowledge, called Jnana Yoga, the yoga of devotion, which is Bhakti Yoga, and the yoga of service, which is Karma Yoga. If any of these 3 parts are missing, then you cannot get the real fulfillment that yoga is attempting to give to you through your practice. This word karma, it is a kind of misnomer, means it is used usually in the wrong way. The real meaning of karma, it is a word that comes from the word kriya. Kriya in Sanskrit means to do. Kri means to do, kriya is an action. And karma are those actions in which the thinking of the individual is that everything is the infinite being, that everything is the supreme, the divine God, and that the one with whom I am interacting is an expression, is a manifestation of God, and that my relationship with God, my relationship with the infinite entity, is a relationship of service. I am here to serve the infinite being in all of its multifarious forms. So if I have that relationship, if everything of my being is a service to the Supreme, it is called Karma Yoga in that moment. When I think in that way, when I act in that way, when I serve in that way, then I'm following Karma Yoga. Now, it means to say that when we do meditation for the self-knowledge, because that is the path of self-knowledge, the Jnana Yoga is primarily through meditation. When we do it like that, and then we do it through Karma Yoga, that is an internal approach, is the Jnana Yoga, or the self-knowledge, and an external approach through the Karma Yoga. So it is just like we are practicing sadhana externally. So it is said in very old tantric scriptures that if the mind of an individual is only engaged in the external world, then she is in a state of darkness. But if the mind of the individual is only engaged in the internal world, she's in a state of deeper darkness. Of course, that surprises most people. But the meaning here is that if we are only thinking of the internal being, because many yogis think like that, and that's a little bit state of confusion. If we're only into the internal world, into the so-called deep meditation, and we don't pay attention to the external world, and we don't have that relationship of service with others, then we cannot get the lessons for which we have been born in this world. We are here to be exposed in so many ways to all of our instincts, to all of the positives, to all of the negatives, and to grow through that. In this way, for example, you have a mother who loves her child, of course, and out of love, she doesn't mind to miss her meal. She doesn't mind to miss her sleep. She doesn't mind the stress that she takes upon herself when she serves her child. Why? Because she thinks that the child is hers, or in a deeper state, the mother thinks the child is herself, is a part of herself. And even though we are told that we should make sacrifices for others, a person who's deep into the karma yoga feeling does not feel that service is a sacrifice, feels it's natural, feels it is love. I'm loving myself, my cosmic self. I'm deep into the love of myself and I'm serving in that spirit. It is a tremendous joy. That's the spirit of karma yoga. Now, of course, one doesn't naturally feel like that from the beginning. That's the reason why we need to practice yoga, to develop this feeling, to develop this way of thinking until it becomes natural. So until it becomes natural, it is a practice for us. We will make many mistakes, and gradually our consciousness will grow in this process. Now, it is very interesting. I'll speak of the lessons in a different way. It's very interesting that our Guru, Baba, he used to say that whenever you start any big work which requires money or resources or people to help in different ways, what different needs are there, but maybe you only have a little bit, you should anyway start, and you go with a speed, and whatever you need, it is going to run after you. So just for example, I am based for quite some years in the city of Cebu, in the country of the Philippines, which I prefer to call Maharlika. So when we wanted to make the Yoga Wellness Center, the Naturopathy Healing Center, I only had 10,000 US dollars. And I knew that this project would cost at least $120,000. But anyway, I booked the architect, booked the contractor, started the work with just $10,000. And then I started going around giving lectures, giving free consultations in naturopathy in so many different countries, and telling if you can donate, it will help this center. It took us 2 years to construct this center. And every time, every month, when the laborers' fees and the architect's fees were needed, somehow that much donation would come. It is always like this. This is a realization that comes with the life of the karma yogi, that whatever she needs in the service of society, it will come. If we just work sincerely, it will come. And therefore our speed can be tremendous. You see the lessons that come. So much work can be done in this way. So in this way, Ananda Marga is very, very known for its service projects. We have a huge amount of service projects compared to the number of people we are. We are not small in number, but still our service is so big because we encourage every single person to do some service work, as we will be encouraging you also, according to your capacity, according to your interest, according to your preference. For example, I give you a bunch of examples. We have kindergartens. We have many, many we got over 1,000, maybe 2,000 kindergartens around the world. We have got a good number of primary schools. We've got high schools. We've got colleges. Also in Maharlika, we have a bunch of kindergartens as well, and these are run in the philosophy of them called neo-humanistic education. It's very different than the normal schools, so the children grow fantastically. We have natural healing centers. These are places where people will completely change their life through their food, their water drinking, their exercise, their therapies, their way of thinking, their meditation, their kiirtan. We have catastrophe relief work. That's coming in a category which is called AMURT. A-M-U-R-T stands for Ananda Marga Universal Relief Team, which is doing enormous work throughout the world at any given moment. We are very well known in the NGO community wherever catastrophes happen. For example, when the huge typhoon, the biggest one in the history up until that time anywhere in the world, Yolanda, when that hit in Maharlika, in 2013. Then we were the first team that was there in Tacloban, where many, many thousands of people died. We were the first there, together with the radio operators. And we were giving food, cooked food, to thousands of people every day. And then we shifted the operation to Samar, which was just the very next state there, which was hit just as hard. And we worked there continuously for 4 years. And we constructed hundreds of very good quality homes, agricultural research stations, government offices, and so on. We are known for this kind of work. Before that time, there was earthquake in Bohol. And when we went there, where many people died, by the time we were the first group that arrived there, we went there by boat. And even stepping on the land, the people were terrified because every 10 minutes, the land was shaking, just like on a ship. And we gave food to the people continuously for 2-3 weeks at that time until everything had settled down. In Manila, at this moment as I'm speaking with you, the coronavirus is happening around the world. And there in Manila, we have been giving food to people almost every day. And by now we have served many thousands of people with food in Manila. In the city of Oroqueta, this is all in the country of Maharlika, a city of 80,000 people. For me, it's the most important project I've had in my life. It is a socioeconomic project we've established because we're making a model there of how a city can work in a very cooperative socioeconomic way. These are karma yoga projects. So the government of that 80,000 people city, they're very closely cooperating with us, and we're rapidly expanding this cooperative so that it is giving employment and empowerment to the unemployed, to the otherwise completely destitute poor. Before that, we made more than 1,000 backyard organic gardens in order to give food and also a little bit of money for the poor who were there. Like that, we are also cooperating to make backyard organic gardens in so many other places. And if you're in Cebu, then you will hear much more about that. We also support something which I can't go into detail now, but we not only this kind of service, the obvious service of which I've been speaking, but also people's movements, which fight against exploitation and corruption, because if you leave that aside, that element aside, then the people are going to go on suffering no matter what. About that, we will explain much more in a later video about socioeconomic theory. Other example, we've got orphanages, which we call children's homes, with more than 150 orphans, more than 150 parentless children in each center, in a bunch of centers in Thailand, in Mongolia. We've got scores of destitute mothers, single mothers who are there. They've got in these very centers organic farming, tailoring centers, bakery, school is there. It's wonderful work. Hospitals, in other places, irrigation projects, various kinds of organic farms, and finally we get to on the smallest level, all different kinds of small service projects for those who have special needs. Means normally they might call them handicapped people, prisoners, teaching them yoga or giving them food or giving them tutoring. There are countless ways in which to help people in small and big ways. Teaching people, mentoring people, even cleaning, even cooking. These are service if they're done in the proper spirit. They're all a part of karma yoga. And in the Sadvipra training course, you will discuss with some service coordinator about what is the most appropriate kind of service work that you can do for your internal development, and it will also help your external development, because when our mind is working in coordination with our body in this way, then the glands will function properly, the spiritual life will be enhanced. Service is, of course, a benefit to the society, but every drop of service that an individual will do, it will benefit herself, himself even more. I want to add one very educative experience that I had many years ago. I had you know that I'm a naturopathic therapist, and had thousands of cases, and one of these cases was very serious cancer. The woman was very disciplined. Her whole family was very supportive, and she did therapy under my guidance for 3 or 4 months. It went very well, and she was getting better and better. And then one day she said to me, yeah, this is after 4 months, she said to me, Dada, the first 3 months I was getting so much better, but the last 1 month I don't feel that I've had much improvement. Then I asked her, I said, is there any center near your home which is helping people who are disadvantaged? They may be blind or deaf or maybe prisoners or anything like that. She said, well, there's one old people's home near where I live. Then I said to her, I'd like you, that's perfect. I said, I'd like you to visit there twice a week and just become a friend of the old people. That's all. And you do that for 3 weeks, then come back. She said, Dada, why should I do that? I said to her, you'll find out. Anyway, she was so gung-ho that she came back after 2 weeks, having been to the center 3 times each week, and she was shining. She said, Dada, I'm feeling better. I've made very good progress. And she described to me how her symptoms had become less. And then I said to her, so do you understand now why I asked you to go to the old people's home? She said, yes, I understand very well. I was so much into my own head, always worrying about what food I'm going to eat, how I'll do the exercise, the mud, the sun, all these factors, always thinking these things all day long. Now, when I started helping the old people, I came out of myself and I was relieved of so much stress, and instead I was feeling really, I tell you honestly, Dada, I am feeling real affection, real love for these people. And that is karma yoga. Karma yoga not only helps the people who are served, it even more helps those who are served. That's what I wanted to add. And now I will say to you all that I hope you will really implement the ideas that have been expressed in this video. It's not just for education, it's extremely practical and super important. Thank you very much, and namaskar.